Timeless, enigmatic, and effortlessly iconic, Lisa Bonet has captivated audiences for decades with her ethereal beauty and soulful presence. But what does life look like now for this Hollywood original? In this video, we take you inside Lisa Bonet's serene and bohemian lifestyle, from her artfully designed home nestled in nature to her commitment to conscious living, wellness, and spiritual balance. We'll also explore her enduring career, cultural impact, and estimated net worth in 2025. This isn't just a story about fame, it's about authenticity, artistic freedom, and living a life rooted in intention and individuality. Lisa Michelle Bonet was born on November 16, 1967, in the culturally rich and diverse city of San Francisco, California. Her life began at the crossroads of two very different, yet deeply expressive worlds. Her mother, Arlene Littman, was a Jewish schoolteacher of Eastern European descent, while her father, Alan Bonet, was an African-American opera singer from Texas, with a voice steeped in classical tradition. From the earliest days of her life, Lisa was immersed in a home that thrived on music, introspection, and a quiet but profound artistic energy. In her household, boundaries didn't exist in the conventional sense. Classical arias coexisted with Motown records. Philosophical conversations and open exploration of identity were normal parts of daily life. Her parents gave her not just a home, but a sanctuary where culture, feeling, and creativity intertwined freely. That unique environment would leave an indelible mark on her soul. Lisa's biracial heritage brought with it a distinct lens through which she viewed the world. She would later speak of how her identity placed her between different cultural spheres, never completely defined by one, but deeply shaped by both. Rather than feeling lost in between, Lisa cultivated a rare sense of grounded individuality. That duality became the foundation for her style, her worldview, and her artistic sensibility. As a child, Lisa was drawn to the unconventional. She wasn't the loudest in the room, but she carried a natural magnetism. She explored her imagination through drawing, poetry, and quiet observation. Even in her earliest years, she exhibited a fashion-forward instinct, gravitating toward textured fabrics and non-traditional silhouettes that echoed her internal sense of freedom and creativity. Growing up in San Francisco, a city known for its radical spirit, artistic communities, and rich cultural fabric, Lisa was surrounded by influences that encouraged authenticity and rebellion against the norm. The civil rights movements, feminist energy, and artistic experimentation of the era shaped not just her surroundings, but her sense of self. By her teenage years, Lisa Bonet was already a product of profound influences. A mind attuned to feeling, a soul fluent in contrast, and a young woman destined to redefine what it meant to live and express freely. Lisa Bonet's education was never confined to the classroom. While she attended Birmingham High School in Los Angeles, it was the world around her, and within her, that truly shaped her. Raised in a household that honored culture and creativity, Lisa was always reaching beyond the surface. Her intellectual appetite was paired with an intuitive, emotional depth. Even as a teenager, she was acutely aware of the space she occupied, as a young woman of mixed heritage, as a thinker, and as a budding artist. After high school, Lisa enrolled in the Celluloid Actors Studio in North Hollywood, a decision that marked a turning point in her journey. This was no conventional acting academy. It was a haven for raw, emotional storytelling, a place where method acting met soul work. Here, Lisa honed her craft not just by studying technique, but by digging into the core of what it meant to feel, to connect, to reveal truth through performance. Outside the studio, Lisa was deeply influenced by the cultural landscape of the late 1970s and early 1980s. She admired iconic women like Nina Simone, Frida Kahlo, and Angela Davis, artists and activists who embodied strength, complexity, and fearless self-expression. These women didn't ask for permission to be themselves, neither did Lisa. Books and music were her constant companions. She read the poetry of Maya Angelou, the philosophies of Khalil Gibran, and listened to everything from Billie Holiday to Bob Marley. These early influences shaped not only her artistry, but her way of being. Lisa didn't aspire to Hollywood fame in the traditional sense. What she sought was something quieter but deeper, a life of intention, creativity, and authenticity. By the time she stepped in front of a camera, she was more than prepared. She was already becoming who she would remain, a woman who spoke through silence, moved with meaning, and lived as art. Lisa Bonet's career began not with a shout, but with a spark, one that would ignite a cultural shift in how young Black women were seen on television. In 1984, at just 16 years old, she landed the role that would define her early fame, Denise Huxtable on The Cosby Show. It wasn't just a role, it was a revelation. Denise wasn't like other sitcom daughters. She was bohemian, independent, effortlessly stylish, and unafraid to question authority. And that wasn't just the character, it was Lisa. Her wardrobe on the show, often consisting of oversized sweaters, eclectic accessories, and natural hair, mirrored her off-screen personality. Viewers connected with her instantly. She became an icon not only for her beauty, but for her individuality, something rarely seen in primetime TV at the time. The show itself was a juggernaut. The Cosby Show quickly became one of the most watched television series in America, and Lisa's presence helped redefine the cultural narrative. She offered an alternative image of young Black womanhood, intellectual, free-spirited, artistic, that resonated across race and class lines. Denise Huxtable was the kind of daughter everyone wanted to have, and Lisa Bonet was the kind of actress who gave the character soul. Her success on The Cosby Show led to a spin-off, A Different World, in 1987. The series was meant to follow Denise's college life at the fictional Hillman College, an HBCU inspired by real campuses like Howard and Spelman. The show marked an even deeper engagement with Black identity, culture, and youth experience. Although Lisa only appeared in the first season due to creative differences and personal life developments, her role helped establish the foundation of what would become a beloved and groundbreaking show. But behind the scenes, Lisa was already grappling with the tension between fame and freedom. She had her own voice, one that didn't always align with the sanitized image television studios wanted to promote. And while many saw her as a rising starlet, Lisa viewed herself as an artist, navigating an industry that often misunderstood her essence. The spark had caught. What came next would be both brilliant and bold. Beyond acting, Lisa Bonet has always nurtured a life filled with personal passion projects, quiet ventures, and meaningful advocacy. Though never one to launch a branded empire or headline high-profile business deals, she's channeled her energy into areas that align with her core beliefs: sustainability, spiritual wellness, and indigenous rights. Over the years, Lisa has been deeply involved in environmental causes, often lending her voice and presence to campaigns that promote ecological stewardship and conscious living. She's supported movements that fight for clean water, forest preservation, and native land rights, causes she became particularly connected to while living in Hawaii and raising her family in close contact with nature. Her activism is less about press releases and more about participation, attending local meetings, supporting grassroots organizations, and living the principles she believes in. In line with her minimalist and holistic lifestyle, Lisa has collaborated occasionally with eco-conscious fashion and home design projects, most notably in the form of curated collections and partnerships with artisan makers. Her aesthetic, a blend of earth tones, raw textures, and spiritual symbolism, has influenced everything from boutique clothing lines to organic skincare brands. She has also quietly participated in retreat-based healing work, both as a guest and a host, where meditation, nutrition, and ancestral practices are taught and explored. These retreats, often kept private or invitation only, reflect her lifelong journey into spiritual grounding and wellness. While Lisa Bonet has never pursued celebrity entrepreneurship in the traditional sense, her ventures are an extension of her inner world, intentional, soulful, and always rooted in purpose. Lisa Bonet's approach to luxury mirrors the rest of her life, understated, intentional, and deeply personal. Her collection of vehicles and luxury assets isn't built around flash or status symbols, but around function, design, and a certain soulful elegance. In 2025, her garage, much like her home, tells a story of taste, nostalgia, and earth-conscious living. Among her most prized vehicles is a 1965 Ford Mustang, cherry red with polished chrome accents and a lovingly restored interior. This vintage classic isn't just a car, it's a statement, a throwback to a different era. Lisa has been spotted behind the wheel of it on quiet Topanga roads, windows down, the wind playing with her signature curls. It's a car that speaks to her love of Americana, but only the kind that's weathered, storied, and real. In Maui, she favors something more rugged, a classic Land Rover Defender, often seen parked beneath the palm trees of her property. This vehicle, with its boxy build and utilitarian charm, is ideal for the island terrain. It's not just transportation. It's a companion for coastal drives, farmers' market runs, and beachside reflections. There are also reports of a matte black Tesla Model X, reflecting her commitment to sustainability. Sleek, silent, and eco-conscious, the Tesla fits seamlessly into Lisa's philosophy of reducing her environmental footprint while embracing modern technology on her own terms. While Lisa doesn't own a fleet of hypercars or designer supercars, she does have access to private aviation when needed. Co-parenting with Jason Momoa across California and Hawaii has at times required shared use of private jet travel, though insiders say she prefers to keep such trips minimal and purposeful. Lisa Bonet's luxury assets are like her, refined, meaningful, and never performative. Whether vintage or electric, everything she owns carries a sense of story, soul, and intention. In a world obsessed with excess, Lisa quietly redefines what it means to live luxuriously, with grace, restraint, and lasting style. Lisa Bonet has never been a loud voice in the political arena, but her silence has never equated to indifference. Instead, her views are expressed through how she lives, the causes she supports, and the values she consistently embodies. In 2025, Lisa continues to stand for what matters to her, not with press tours or campaign speeches, but with deeply personal commitments and intentional actions. She has long been an advocate for environmental justice, indigenous sovereignty, and women's rights. Her connection to the earth isn't performative, it's ancestral. Lisa has spoken out in support of Native communities in Hawaii and the mainland U.S., particularly around land protection and water rights. She has quietly participated in benefit events, lent her platform to underrepresented voices, and supported grassroots movements through donation and presence rather than spotlight. Lisa has also been consistently aligned with feminist values, but hers is a feminism rooted in sacred femininity, not just equity, but wholeness. She promotes the spiritual reclamation of feminine energy, the right to softness, and the power of self-knowing. She has praised women who live authentically, outside the confines of patriarchal expectation, and has raised her daughter Zoe to do the same. Not aligned with any political party, Lisa prefers to act from principle rather than partisanship. Her choices, whether in activism or artistry, speak to a belief in justice, respect for nature, and reverence for ancient wisdom. In today's often polarized discourse, Lisa Bonet remains a rare figure, grounded, aware, and unwavering, choosing impact over volume and alignment over applause. At the center of Lisa Bonet's life is a quiet but unwavering spiritual current, one that guides her choices, rituals, and worldview. In 2025, her beliefs and wellness practices are not trends, but truths she has lived by for decades. For Lisa, wellness isn't a luxury or a performance. It's a sacred responsibility to the self. Her days begin not with phones or screens, but with ritual. Morning herbal infusions, often brewed with adaptogens and foraged roots, mark the start of her daily rhythm. She practices meditation and breath work, often barefoot in her garden or near an open window where wind and incense smoke can flow freely. Her mornings are still and intentional, an act of tuning in rather than powering up. Lisa follows a blend of Ayurvedic and plant-based nutrition. Her meals are colorful, seasonal, and intuitive. She believes in the healing properties of food, but also in the energy with which it's prepared. When she cooks, it's slow, with hands and heart. She avoids processed products, opting instead for local produce, fermented staples, and nutrient-dense whole foods. Her pantry is a mix of ancient grains, teas, and handmade oils. She also honors spiritual practices that reflect a reverence for ancestral wisdom, Whether it's moon rituals, energy clearing with sage and Palo Santo, or gathering in women's circles, Lisa moves through life with ceremony. Her beliefs lean toward the mystic, a blend of Eastern philosophy, indigenous spirituality, and feminine archetypes. She doesn't preach or label her path, but those who know her describe her as profoundly attuned to the unseen. Physical movement is part of her wellness too, but again, not for aesthetics. She practices yoga, qigong, and martial arts, often in solitude or with close friends. Movement is prayer, not performance. More than anything, Lisa Bonet believes in alignment, living in a way that honors the soul, respects the earth, and nurtures the body. Her philosophy could be summed up as sacred minimalism, having less, but living more deeply. In a culture that often chases faster, louder, and bigger, Lisa chooses stillness, silence, and depth. Her wellness is not something she does, it's who she is. Lisa Bonet's personal life has always captivated the public, not just for its romance and beauty, but for the intimacy and authenticity with which she has lived it. In 2025, her role as a mother, former partner, and quiet matriarch continues to be central to who she is, not a separate sphere from her art, but an extension of it. Her first widely known relationship was with Lenny Kravitz, the genre-defying rock star whose rebellious charm matched her own artistic soul. The two married in 1987, when Lisa was just 20, and together they became a symbol of alternative Black excellence. Their daughter, Zoe Kravitz, was born the following year, a child raised in a world of music, art, and raw creativity. Though Lisa and Lenny eventually separated, their bond never fractured. To this day, they remain close friends and mutual admirers. Their family unit, though unconventional, is built on mutual respect and artistic unity. Zoe has since risen to stardom in her own right, a reflection of both her parents' talent and her mother's grounding influence. Lisa's presence in Zoe's life has always been more spiritual guide than stage mom. She gave her daughter the tools to be independent, but also the strength to be introspective. Their relationship is one of soulful mentorship, deep trust, and inherited wisdom. In 2005, Lisa entered into a new chapter with actor Jason Momoa. Their relationship, which blossomed from deep admiration and creative compatibility, became one of Hollywood's most beloved partnerships. Together they have two children, Lola Iolani and Nakoa Wolf Manakawapo Namakaeha, names rooted in nature and heritage. As parents, Lisa and Jason cultivated a life steeped in the earth, between Topanga Canyon and Maui, raising their children close to the land and far from the noise of fame. Though Lisa and Jason announced their separation in 2022, their commitment to family remained steadfast. They've continued to co-parent with grace, sharing a deep bond that transcends romantic titles. Their connection is not fractured, it has simply evolved. In every chapter of her life, Lisa Bonet has prioritized emotional integrity over appearances. Her family is her sanctuary, not in the conventional sense of structure, but in the spiritual sense of belonging. Love, for Lisa, is not about permanence. It's about presence, truth, and the freedom to evolve. While Lisa Bonet has always been known for her quiet mystique and magnetic screen presence, there's much about her that lives outside the spotlight. Dimensions of her personality and abilities that few people ever see. These hidden layers only add to her timeless intrigue. For one, Lisa is an avid writer. Long before journaling became a wellness trend, she was filling notebooks with poetry, reflections, sketches, and dreams. Writing, for her, is a private ritual, a way to process, remember, and reconnect. Though she has never released a book or collection, those close to her say she's compiled decades of writings that read like lyrical meditations on love, nature, motherhood, and the soul. She is also fluent in French, a language she began studying in her youth and has continued to cultivate over the years. The French language, poetic, expressive, and nuanced, mirrors her own manner of being. She's known to slip into French during intimate conversations or while traveling abroad, and her daughter Zoe shares this affinity. Surprisingly to some, Lisa has trained in martial arts, specifically Kempo Karate, in which she holds a black belt. It's a discipline she respects deeply, not as a sport, but as a spiritual and physical practice. The strength it offers, she says, is as much internal as external. And while she's rarely in front of a microphone, Lisa once considered pursuing voice work in animation or narration, drawn to the power of storytelling through tone and energy. These quieter pursuits reveal a woman of immense depth, someone who lives deliberately, creates constantly, and reveals only what she chooses. While Lisa Bonet has largely maintained a dignified distance from the chaos of tabloid culture, her career and personal life have not been without turbulence. True to her nature, she's faced her challenges not with public spectacle, but with quiet resilience. The most prominent controversy came in 1987, when Lisa took on the role of Epiphany Proudfoot in Angel Heart. The film's explicit content, particularly her love scene with Mickey Rourke, sparked significant backlash, not just from audiences, but from those within the television industry. The tension between her bold artistic choice and her wholesome image on The Cosby Show led to conflict with Bill Cosby, who reportedly felt the role was inappropriate for a cast member on his family-centered series. That fallout resulted in Lisa being written off from A Different World after just one season, and later contributing to her departure from The Cosby Show entirely. At the time, the move was painted as rebellious and risky. But in hindsight, it was a declaration of independence, Lisa choosing integrity over image, truth over compliance. Years later, in light of Cosby's own legal controversies, Lisa's early estrangement from the show has taken on new significance. Though she has rarely spoken publicly on the matter, her silence has often said more than words. In her personal life, her separation from Jason Momoa in 2022 was met with public mourning by fans. Yet even then, Lisa chose grace over drama, privacy over headlines. Her setbacks, while public, have never defined her. They've revealed her strength, steady, sovereign, and deeply self-possessed. Lisa Bonet's legacy doesn't live in blockbuster counts or awards shelves. It lives in presence, in aesthetic, in the ripple effects of authenticity. She is the embodiment of a cultural shift that prized individuality over conformity, and in doing so, became a quiet but indelible force in modern creative identity. From the moment she stepped onto television screens as Denise Huxtable, Lisa redefined what it meant to be a young black woman in media. She wasn't the sidekick or the stereotype. She was intellectual, eccentric, and fiercely independent. Her character helped reshape the mainstream narrative, offering a version of black femininity that was layered, stylish, and free-thinking. Generations of women, especially young women of color, saw in her a reflection of themselves that they hadn't yet been offered on screen. But Lisa's influence stretches far beyond her early roles. She became a fashion and lifestyle icon, not by chasing trends, but by living authentically. Her bohemian style, oversized knits, layered jewelry, natural textures, and earthy palettes, has been echoed by designers and influencers for decades. The phrase Bonet-esque became a shorthand for soulfully curated beauty. As a mother, she helped nurture another icon in the making, Zoe Kravitz, who now carries the torch with the same grounded elegance and creative courage. Together, they represent a rare lineage of artistry that spans generations without ever selling out to the machine. In an industry often driven by noise, Lisa Bonet chose stillness. In a culture of reinvention, she chose constancy. She didn't ask for permission, she embodied permission. And through that, she left an imprint far greater than any headline could capture. Lisa Bonet's cultural impact is quiet, but seismic, the kind that moves things from the roots.